Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking your time to be part of our viewers and listeners. We really value your support. We don't take it for granted, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us for the first time, please allow me to request you to take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you whenever we release a video like this. You can also render more support by sharing our videos and giving this video a like. Again, thank you for supporting our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the death of General Ogola was not only shocking to the nation, but it also went a long way to open a a big Pandora's box. Sometimes we sit down and we would want to rest his soul, allow his soul rest in peace. But then Ogola was not your ordinary person. Apart from the fact that he is a father, a husband, a brother to someone, and I know where his father sits. He's wondering that 100-year-old granny, the grandfather of Soto, is wondering what went wrong. He waited for his son to come to go there so that they could celebrate his birthday, but he received the body of his son. So, in as much as we would want to rest his soul, to allow his soul rest in peace, he was also a general. In fact, during his burial, several visitors from all walks of life, in fact, in East Africa, they all they were all represented by their generals or people in the military, because I think it has never been heard that a general dies while in office. Even in Kenya, all the generals are alive except General Mulinge, or let me call it the CDF, except Mulinge, who died after retiring from office. So it was really shocking, and people have been asking questions. But there's something that has been going on in my mind, because these are undertones that you've spoken about when people play their politics. In fact, the intelligence, the NIS understand all this more than I do, because they collect information. They know that there are a lot of undertones. I know we are supposed to let investigation take place and then know what happened to the general. But even as a layman, I'm not a security expert, I'm not an aircraft expert, I'm not a weather expert, but we've read international reports whenever there is an accident, an air accident, and I know that the investigation will border around three issues. One could be weather. In fact, that will be the result. The result will border on weather. Whenever there is bad weather that is not conducive for flying choppers and aeroplanes, sometimes they are caught up in accidents. But even with that, someone will take responsibility, because we understand that the military enjoys high profile intelligence about whether is it safe to fly. So we will know. Number two, mechanical problems have always been associated with the aircraft accidents. But again, the military has the best engineers. Whenever people are taken in, others are taken as cadets. And those are people who are learned, people who have got good grades. So some of them become doctors, engineers. So we know that even with this, if we are told that it is a mechanical problem, then who slept on the job? And then there are both undertones, and people are now speaking very publicly that our general might have been assassinated. This was not, people never hid their frustrations about this. Martha Karua spoke about it. In fact, Martha Karua summarized it this way, that the country that General Ogola protected never protected him at the time of death. Oburu, who is the brother to Raila Amolo Odinga, stated very categorically that they have had very many prominent Luos who have been assassinated, and therefore they are very suspicious and they're afraid that this could also be another a trail of murder. So those are the three, results that are bordering as a layman and giving evidence because people spoke about it. Raila Odinga told the president that we need a very honest and transparent inquiry into the death. So that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to prove to you that our president is not safe. Why? General Ogola is the man we entrusted with the security of the president and the security of the nation. During holidays, when the president is going around, maybe if it is Uhuru Park or Nyayo, when he gets into that Kiwanja and he's going around, saying hi to people, you always see him with the CDF, Chief of General Staff. They are always with Ogola. That means it is Ogola who we have entrusted with his security. President is the symbol of national unity. When the president is going outside the country, it was, let me talk of General Ogola, who saw him off. Even recently when Gashagwa was going, where was he going? I saw them chatting with General Ogola. General Ogola saw him off just to ensure that as he goes, everything's okay, and to assure him that the country is safe. Anytime the president and his team are gathered somewhere, you always hear this one ya kwamba rais wetu hali ya anga iko shwari, that is the air force, and they say even the waters are safe, that is the Kenya Navy, and even the ground is safe. They always assure the president that at the air, the waters, na nchi kavu, everything is okay, and they assure him that our security is up to date. And the person who has always been in charge of all this is or was General Ogola. So this is the man I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If at all there is any iota of truth that will come out that someone assassinated managed to plan and carry out this assassination, it would be very sad. And one would ask, if Ogola was assassinated, because these are things that people talk about, that this would go down in history as one of the very high-profile murders that cannot be carried out by a civilian. And that is why accusing fingers are being directed to William Samoei Ruto, not because he was directly involved, but he's the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. He receives high-profile intelligence. How could someone, if at all he was assassinated, how could someone plan and execute an assassination of his general, of his CDF, and he did not know? And that is my point. Did someone sleep on the job? But ladies and gentlemen, I want us to turn the coin upside down or see the other side of the coin. There has been another narrative that William Ruto in any way could have not been involved in this. And people say, what does he gain if he's involved in the murder of Ogolla? People are saying Ogolla was supposed to retire next year. Even if William Ruto had a problem with him, he would have just waited. So, and I even remember Robert Alai saying, guys, let General Ogola's soul rest in peace. Ruto gains nothing by getting involved in his murder. The question is, could there be a possibility that some people planned and executed this murder without his knowledge? And that is my point. Ogolla was very close to President Ruto by virtue of the fact that the entire nation's security rested on his shoulders. William Ruto, as I've said, gets very high profile security, alert, and intelligence. So if someone outside his knowledge planned and executed this, then the president's life is in danger. And that is my point. Undertones, as I said, people talk outside and others are saying that this is not, there is no president's hand in it. In fact, let me tell you, because as I said, these are things that even the NIS understands. Some people are saying that someone might have executed this so that the relationship between the Luos and Ruto gets sour. Why? Because in the next few years, like in 2027, as people get closer to elections, Ruto was seen endearing himself to the Luos. And therefore, these are talks. People are saying that maybe this person did it to ensure that the relationship of the two, Ruto and the Luo community, doesn't get cordial at all. Others are even saying that William Ruto was shocked, that he was surprised when he got the information that General Ogola died. Except for the warning that he gave, or the claims that Ogola wanted to overturn his victory, and some of his very close allies like Sudi warned General Ogola. And even the fact that there was an SMS that vindicated Ogola, but he didn't tell us, he still insisted that even Ogola's name never featured anywhere among the names that were forwarded to him by the security, the military council. And people are saying that maybe that dilutes all this argument. But then I want you to picture just for a moment. You know, William Ruto is the president of this country, whether you voted for him or not. He's being paid by your money if you're a Kenyan, taxpayers' money. If something happens to him, either directly or indirectly, it affects your life. And so, if there is, I could call it a cartel, if there existed any cartel who could plan and execute a chief of general staff without the knowledge of the president, do you still believe we have a country? Because William Ruto said during the burial that never again will we have any kind of assassination, and even give an example like bodies in Rivayala. And so he assured the nation that there can never be anything like assassinations. And so he's telling the nation that he will get to the rock bottom of this. The question I'm repeating, if someone did this behind the president, how safe is the president? How safe is the country? Because we always look up to the president to know what is about to happen, especially to his ministers, some of the very close allies, those big people in the government. And we expect that because of the intelligence that he receives, he can always avert what is about to happen. Just like we are always told that we need to be very careful. There's an alert of some Al-Shabaab or Al-Qaeda, some terrorist group. We are told they can cause mayhem in one of the cities, and you are told avoid crowded places, avoid where foreigners frequent, and they tighten security and they avert it. This is what we expected, that if there was any mischief, then you would have known by intelligence and averted this. And I'm not saying that this is what happened. Like I said, I started by saying it could either be weather or mechanical problems, all of this, but what if it happened? What if the president did not know at all? Then it means that next we might wake up and hear that there was an assassination attempt on the president, or the president has fallen by his jet or the military jet, because it seems that no one fed him with this information. If someone can do this, this is the man who is entrusted by giving security to the president and is now gone. How safe is the president? Don't you realize that we could be staring at some dark days? How safe? Because I have got a feeling that one day we might just get this news. We wake up to the news that the jet or a chopper that was carrying the president and his cabinet secretary, or the people they have, is no more. And then we begin speculations. What I'm saying in a nutshell, the president must assure the nation that in light of what happened, he is still safe. And he must tell us that he was not aware of this, and explain if he was not aware, then what happened? Who should be aware if it's not the president? The person who gets intelligence from the police, from the military, from anywhere, is the president himself. And when you listen to people as they talk outside, they say the president must be very careful. If this was not mechanical problem, if it was not weather, if the result is an assassination and he was not aware, then he must be very careful. And those are the pieces of advice or maoni ya watu tu wanapoongea pale nje, wanasema kama mtu alipanga na rais hakujua, then hata yeye maisha yake yamo hatarini. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know whether you understand that point, because we expect him to be on top of everything, to know what is about to happen. to use his security and the authority to avert all this. And so that is the other side of the coin that I wanted us to look at. If he was not aware, who should be aware? If he was not aware, then what happened? Who is this that did not feed him with information? Who was sabotaging? Who headed the sabotage? If at all the information that he was shocked, he was surprised, what really happened? I'm looking at a crisis, if we are not careful, a constitutional crisis, leadership crisis, or something. And we pray that moving forward, if this happened, then they should tighten and make a few changes. And William Ruto must be very careful so that if at all this caught him unaware, then he should not allow such a thing to catch him unaware, because it can plunge the nation into the deepest trauma that we've never had. And this, I'm just talking from a point of view that leaders, whether you elected them, whether they're your opponent, they're your competitors, they are being paid by taxpayers' money. And so their death or assassination or their loss affects you in one way or the other. I don't know what you think, but do you think that if at all this caught William Ruto unaware, just the other side of the coin, apart from all the belief and what people think that he was directly or indirectly involved, if at all he was not aware, don't you think there is a problem that we were about to stare at a very big problem, a crisis to the nation? I don't know what to think, but that's my point. Kindly subscribe if you're watching for the first time.